Varmt välkomna ska ni vara tillbaka med ett nytt avsnitt med MMA-panelen. Som vanligt har jag med mig
Martin Karlsson,
Muskler Kavelin.
Så har vi även en gäst. What's your name?
Arthur Cheng.
Thank you for being here, Arthur. Någon av er får ta det här, för jag är sämst på engelska.
Vi får nog ta den här podcasten på engelska. We should take this podcast in English so we could talk to you because your Swedish is terrible.
And my English is terrible.
So let's start. I don't know how to introduce you. So could you introduce yourself? Minor introduction.
Okay, yeah. So I'm Arthur Cheng. I'm an associate professor at York University in Toronto, Canada, and the Muscle Health Research Center. And yeah, I've been there for 6 years now. And previously I worked for 8 years at the Karolinska Institute. Prior to that, yeah, I'm from Toronto anyway. So for me, I'm working back home now. But yeah, I really love working in Stockholm. And nice to be back.
And the reason we have you in our podcast is
because you're interested in ice water baths.
But when we have now we did cold plunge sauna earlier.
Where?
At
Sacred Sauna in Slakthusområdet.
And I saved the question because I wanted to ask you this in the podcast as well. A little bit more personal, not so much about your research. We talked about your eating habits, your diet, how you eat, yeah? But I didn't ask you about your training.
Yeah.
How do you train?
Well, yeah, I've evolved. I mean, previously I did a lot of strength training. I just wanted to be jacked. Yeah. But that was like 10, 15 years ago. And I've since become more like an endurance athlete. So now I'm more become like really interested in cycling, running. I still do a little bit of strength training, but not really into like becoming,
More like a hybrid athlete?
A little bit of a hybrid athlete, kind of. Yeah, just changing interests. So.
Yeah, it's just because of interest, not because optimization. It's because it's optimal.
No, it's more like my friends. They started going from lifting to becoming like cycling, and then all of a sudden, they want to go faster. In order to go faster, I can't be like, big muscly guy. So then I was like, well, why am I in the gym lifting heavy weights for? I need to be spending more time on my bike. So then, I've done Vätternrundan 3 times.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh shit!
Have you bought like a bike, a good bike?
Yeah, a pretty good bike. I mean, my bike's like 15 years old, but I brought it from Canada.
Yeah.
You've done more than Swedish people.
Yeah. So I did every time I do Vätternrundan, I swear I'm never going to do it again. But then when you finish, the pain's gone, and you're like, you know what? I think I could have gone faster.
What is your finish time?
My best finish time is about 9 hours and 45 minutes.
Cycling for 9 hours. Jesus.
Yeah. But
where's the worst pain?
Worst pain?
When you do the Vätternrundan.
Is it in the glutes?
I think the first time, I don't know, it's like the saddle.
Yeah. I would imagine.
Yeah. And then after that, it's just low energy, like if you don't eat properly. And I think just after having a better understanding of nutrition and like what's really become big right now in like the Tour de France is eating carbs, like eating a ton of carbohydrates. That's the key, eating a lot,
You see it from like every bicycle race that they come from the cars and give them carbs.
Yeah,
and you see a lot of
Morton gels.
Morton gels. Yeah, exactly.
They're holding on to the driver of it, of the car.
Yeah.
How much do you think that would help?
Huge.
Huge.
Yeah. It depends on the sport that you're in.
Yeah.
But anything that's going to be like where you're using a lot of carbohydrate. I mean, most sports, like especially the longer they are, the more carbohydrates you use. But even you can think of it like. It could be football. It can be hockey. Like you're still, even if you're doing like 1 minute sprints out on the ice and you're getting back, into like, the bench, resting, you're doing those repeated spins over and over and over again, like, for 3 periods. Yeah. So it's still going to be huge on carbohydrates. So I think carbohydrates is where like, performance enhancement is at, like for nutrition, is carbs.
I really felt that I ran half marathon last year. And I just run for fun. And then like I think when I've been running like 15 kilometers, I got like a Morton gel. And like after 10 minutes, like the energy was so much better.
So shit.
Yeah.
Have you run any marathon as well?
No, I haven't. No, I've just run like a half marathon distance on my own, just because I wanted to do it. But nothing Yeah, we used to, when we were at Karolinska, we used to do, like once a week, we used to run 15 kilometers around Brunsviken. So from Karolinska, and then we run around the lake. You have no option, right? You just have to run around it. There's no way to get around it. But I used to run it with my postdoc advisor, Håkan Westerblad. He was a marathon runner.
Shout out.
Shout out. He's the man. He's the man. Yeah.
So you studied a lot about muscle behavior. How much did the eating carbohydrating thing do with the muscle during training?
Yeah, it's big. I mean, if you want to like maintain your performance during training, and if you're starting to feel tired, and it depends on what you're doing. It depends on like what type of exercise you're doing. Like if you're starting to feel tired, it's probably that, you know, you're either you haven't eaten enough carbohydrates or you're not eating any carbohydrates, you know, to fuel your body. So we did a study, we published it last year, and we kind of showed like, you know, everyone knows that if you eat carbohydrates, it benefits your performance, but why? And what we did was we did a study where we had people that are doing exercise and they were either consuming carbohydrates or consuming like an artificial sweetener. They didn't know which one was which. And then what we saw was that, yeah, when you're not consuming carbohydrates, you're just consuming like artificial sweetener or something like that, that performance was really down. And actually what was really interesting, because I'm more of a muscle researcher than like a brain researcher or something like that, I was really surprised that we actually showed that your brain gets really fatigued if you don't consume carbohydrates, even more than the benefits of muscle from what we saw. So yeah, so like, you know, if you're feeling really exhausted during exercise, it seems that carbohydrates are really important. Yeah.
So even if the brain feels fatigue, it signals down to the body that the body should feel the same way as the brain? You know what I mean?
Correct. If the brain is getting fatigued, you can't push the body harder.
Even though the body still got the energy.
Yeah, because your brain doesn't have the energy, so you can't drive, you know, you can't drive the brain as hard to activate your muscles.
But it works the opposite. If your body doesn't have the energy left, but your brain still has it, it still signals back, you got to proceed. Yeah,
possibly. I mean, there's carbohydrates stored in your brain, but not very much of it. Difficult to study because you can't access the brain to take out like the muscle sample. But we know from some studies that you definitely have a depletion of brain carbohydrate stores. And then from our study, it's clear that if you consume carbohydrates, your brain performance is better and you can push harder. Definitely.
We can feel it because when we're doing weight cuts, like the last weeks, we cut all carbs and salts. Just because that take all the fluid away, and then you feel like really tired in your brain. It's like every day it seems like it's been irritated.
So when did you get interested of the muscle, how muscle behaves?
I don't know, from my past, just kind of being like into sports generally. I mentioned to you guys before when we were at sauna. Where?
What was it called?
Sacred sauna.
Sacred sauna. Exactly. So when we were at Sacred Sauna, I kind of mentioned that I was a competitive archer in like gymnasiate kind of time. And but I was really into like other sports as well, and like dragon boating and all these other random sports. And I just was really interested in the body and how it works. And like I wanted to know how to be in the gym and how to train better, how to eat better, how to maximize nutrition. And I just became really interested in that. So then
you did it for yourself?
I did it for myself. Yeah, that's where it came from.
So it wasn't like I want to do research for...
No.
Oh, so you wanted to be
how can I be stronger, faster? Like, how can I have the knowledge, to do that? Like even when I injured my shoulder, I originally thought that I would be like in physiotherapy or doing like chiropractic or something like that. But then when I was working alongside, physiotherapists and I was volunteering, I was like, well, they don't even really know sometimes why they're doing certain things. And then I was like, wait a second, how do you not know why you're doing that? Because then you're wasting my money and time. So like you need to know why you're doing this and know if it's effective to improve your patient's recovery. So that's why I kind of started leaning more towards science.
What was your shoulder injury?
Tendinitis, like really bad tendinitis. And I had it for years. I probably still have it to some degree.
Yeah.
But just really bad tendinitis. And then like I was seeing like 2 physiotherapists, a chiropractor, massage therapist at the same time. And everyone was giving me different therapy for my shoulder. I'm like, this is really weird. Right? Like, why is someone giving me ice but some person's giving me heat at the same time? Another person's giving me acupuncture, or like, why is everyone telling me different information? And so at that time point, I started thinking. I was already in university at that time point, but I was like, this doesn't make sense to me, and why is that? So like, I think that's kind of why I went into research, because I was like, I really want to know. And I want to figure out a way to understand what's happening.
What did you think helped the most, and through your research, like from when you're injured to recover? What's the best way to recover from an injury? I know it depends on the injury, but on like small injuries in the body.
I mean, really hard to say, because it really depends on the type of injury. Yeah. But I think probably the big one is, I think we're pushed too hard to like get back into competition or training too fast. And I think our rehabilitation has to go slower than we think. So I think that's the biggest thing, is like we are trying to get back into training and competition too quickly. And we need to really train slowly and rehabilitate our body properly before we get back in to prevent injury. I think that's the key.
Do you have a degree in nutrition too?
No, I don't. But I study nutrition, obviously, with carbohydrate research and so forth. Yeah.
So what did you get out from your research regarding the cold water immersion?
Yeah, so going back to cold water immersion, well, my area of specific interest is in muscle.
Yeah.
And so we published a paper in 2017 where we wanted to look at the effects of cold water immersion and also hot water immersion on muscle and how it affects muscle, specifically muscle strength or fatigability and so forth. And so at Karolinska, we did experiments both actually it was not only at Karolinska, it was also at Mid-Sweden University, Mitt-Universitet.
Yeah.
So we collaborated and did our projects up there in humans. And so what we did was we did like arm cycling exercise. And then after we did arm cycling exercise, what we did was we either heated the arms, cooled the arms, or did like nothing in the same people. And then to kind of look more at what is happening inside the muscle, then we repeated some experiments on mice. So we took the muscles out, and then we looked at live muscle to see like, how does cold water immersion affect, especially the recovery of muscle? Because usually I think when people are doing cold water immersion or ice water baths, is they're doing it after exercise, right? Post-exercise, for post-exercise recovery. So what we ended up seeing was that, and we took it to an extreme situation, okay? I know people do typically 5 to 10 degrees Celsius water for like, how long? 10 minutes?
Yeah.
Maximum.
Max 10 minutes or something like that. But we did it for 2 hours.
I think the study you mentioned earlier.
Or
on people and on like mouse muscle.
Yeah.
All right. So we took it to the extreme. It's like, okay, let's just see. We're going to track it over time. So over 2 hours, we're going to see what happens to the recovery of strength or power. And then we're going to look at what happens when you do the exercise again after 2 hours.
Just to clarify to the viewers, you did a research regarding the muscle, not the whole body.
Not the whole body.
Because when we were talking earlier, I was thinking it was research regarding the whole body. Mindset.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, just like the muscle. But I just want to kind of, put as perspective that even if we just study it in muscle, when you go to a cold water immersion bath, of course your muscles are immersed too, right? But if you immerse the whole body, then there's systemic effects of cooling. So it affects your core body temperature. It can affect your brain, affect your heart rate, affect like blood flow, all these kind of other things. But since I'm a muscle researcher, then we only study like muscle effects. But what we ended up seeing is that after like endurance cycling, that if you cool the muscle for 2 hours, then clearly it has detrimental effects on, if you were to do that cycling exercise again, your performance is going to be impaired. Whereas inversely, if you heat the muscle, your performance is improved. So you actually heat the muscle recovery is improved, performance is improved.
How did you hit with a bath as well?
Yeah, so we put like a cuff, an arm cuff. I don't know if you've ever gone to physiotherapy where you have this like water perfused cuff. And so we modified it so it was like it can get like really cold or it can get like really hot. So that's kind of how we did it.
Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. Because I thought you put someone in the bath for like 2 hours.
No, just the arm. Yeah. Okay. So, and then the muscle temperature got down to like 15 degrees Celsius, like really low, probably like, whatever is that?
Was it hard 20 degrees lower than normal? The people that participated?
Yeah, no problem. No problem. I mean, the cooling was no problem. Actually, the heating was more difficult.
Oh, okay.
Because like if you raise the muscle temperature by 5 degrees, it feels like you're like burning the arm off because the skin feels like it's gonna burn. So like you know,
send signals to the head, right?
Yeah, it can send signals to the head, but like you feel like your arm's burning off. Shit. So we did both. We took it to the extreme. And then we're like, okay, well, what's going on? Like what's happening inside the muscle that is explaining why the muscle is like, getting worsened by cold water immersion and why is it being improved by hot water immersion? And what we showed in the mouse muscle was that the muscle carbohydrate stores, glycogen, are resynthesized faster. So they're recovered faster if you heat the muscle. Whereas if you cool the muscle, the recovery of glycogen stores inside the muscle is reduced, right? So I mean, this is an extreme situation. Like no one's going to be sitting in an ice water bath for 2 hours or in a sauna for 2 hours. But we just wanted to kind of see like if someone really believes in it, what would happen, right? Yeah. So that was the very first study. And we got some interest out of that project, and it was in like the New York Times. There was a New York Times article about it. So there's like definitely some interest in that project. And since then, we've been still researching cold water immersion, hot water immersion. And I still think it's a really interesting topic because it's so many people are doing it. And I think what's really lacking, even if top athletes are doing it, right? Like, in every field, what we really lack is the science, what's really going on. And so I think it's a really interesting topic.
How come the difference was so high? You said by only hiring the temperature in the muscle 5 degrees, you felt burning, but you could decrease to the 15 degrees the muscle.
Yeah.
How come it's harder to?
How come it's okay? Probably because the pain you can't tolerate it.
You could tolerate coldness.
Cold is no problem. Yeah, you can.
How come?
But you don't even feel anything. If you cool the muscle to like 15 degrees Celsius, like you feel nothing. You're fine because your core body temperature is not affected. Yeah. Because I'm only heating or cooling the arm, right?
Yeah.
So core body temperature was unaffected, but if you heat the arm, the limitation is the skin. The skin, like if you feel the skin gets so hot, you feel like it's burning.
So it's two different
things. Yeah. Cool. Your skin doesn't feel like when it gets too cold, unless it's like about to freeze.
Yeah.
Then you feel like a problem.
Then it's too late.
That's too late. But there's no problem to get the muscle really cold.
Like your brain warns you before earlier when it's warm, and it's too late when it's cold.
But in cool, your body is like, it's okay. Yeah.
I have a weird question.
Yeah.
Is it a specific reason you do experiments on mice? Like just that animal? Than others? Is it like...
Yeah. The reason for that is that like the way that we study muscle, because like what we want to do is when we isolate the muscle out, because the limitation with human experiments is that we can't take apart a human.
Yeah.
Right? So like even if people have heard about muscle biopsies, but if you take a muscle biopsy, you're taking out a piece of muscle, but that piece of muscle is like dead. Like you've cut a piece of muscle, but it can't contract like it's...
Yeah.
So what you can do then is you can look at proteins, or you can look at like maybe antioxidants or inflammation factors that have changed, but like that's about it. It's a snapshot.
Yeah.
But what we want to do is we want to look at what's happening in real time. So as we fatigue the muscle, why is the muscle becoming fatigued? And then if the muscle's recovering faster, what's going on? And so one technique that we can do when I was at Karolinska, we're one of the few labs in the world that could do it, is we could look at fatigue in like single muscle fibers. And the advantage of that is that we can fatigue that one muscle fiber, and then inside the muscle fiber, we can look at calcium. And why it's important to look at calcium is that calcium is like the master regulator of muscle strength. So like when your brain sends an electrical signal into the muscle, that electrical signal is then converted to release calcium inside the cell. And when we release calcium, all of a sudden that activates contractile proteins that then cause your muscle to generate force. And depending on how much calcium released inside the cell, you end up getting a stronger contraction. So by studying calcium, then we could study, well, is the release of calcium inside the muscle cell from the sarcoplasmic reticulum, which is where it's stored, is the release of calcium impaired, and explaining why fatigue is occurring.
This was one of the studies you sent us, right?
Yeah.
It was about this.
Yeah, there's many.
Because I saw this about calcium, and I was super confused at first, because I didn't know that it was a factor in why we contract our muscle, and how we do
calcium is super important. Yeah, so when you send like an action potential, when we send electrical signal from your brain, it gets converted to a signal, and the chemical signal is calcium. Calcium gets released. It activates contractile proteins, and then you end up generating force from your muscle. That's how it works. So calcium is super important. And so we wanted to study like what's going on in the muscle to explain what's happening. And not just calcium, we've looked at other things, like we've looked at, free radicals that are being generated inside muscle. Does that affect force generation? Does that affect calcium? So that's kind of, you can't do that in humans. You still can't do that in humans.
Okay.
So that's why we study muscle, like mouse muscle. And mouse muscle works generally very similarly to human muscle with some differences. Like mouse muscle, its metabolism is like crazy. It's probably, 10, 20 times faster metabolism than a human.
Okay,
yeah. So that's a difference.
So what's the biggest insight from your study on muscle fatigue and calcium regulation?
Yeah, so muscle fatigue is from many different studies, even from studies that we've done on human single fibers. So we've used the same technique that we do to study mouse muscle. We've studied human muscle. One of the first studies and only studies was done with us at Karolinska. That you have an impairment in the ability to release calcium from the sarcoplasmic reticulum. So calcium concentration is reduced during fatigue. And then by reducing the calcium concentration, you end up having less force, and that explains why you become fatigued, is that your strength of your fiber is reduced because you release less calcium from the sarcoplasmic reticulum. Now you can ask, well, what causes that?
Yeah.
And then there's many different things. One of them is the muscle carbohydrate stores. So if you don't have enough muscle carbohydrate stores, that can cause a muscle to release less calcium. And also, you can also, during very high intensity exercise, like if you're doing a 10-second sprint or something like that, you have metabolites that are being produced inside the muscle and accumulate, makes the muscle acidotic. So it reduces the muscle pH. That can cause fatigue and also impair the release of calcium. You also have one big one is inorganic phosphate. So that is released as a byproduct of breaking down ATP. ATP is the most basic energy source, like anything, fat, proteins, carbohydrates, they all get converted to ATP in the end to be used in the body. But when you break down ATP really quickly, you produce hydrogen ions, which produces acidosis. It produces and then you produce inorganic phosphate, which then also acts inside the muscle to shut down different things. So it can shut down calcium release. It can also shut down the contractile proteins that generate force. So there's many different things that can cause fatigue and cause impairments in calcium release, but it depends
on how you
the mechanism depends on what exercise you're doing.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So we should eat more calcium?
No. You don't. You can't.
That's one of the things old people say, don't eat too much calcium.
Yeah, no, you can't eat calcium to increase calcium release. It doesn't really work that way. Yeah.
How come?
I don't know. To be honest, I don't know. Maybe your body...
Because his question was logic. If you eat a lot of calcium, then the thing you said should be good.
Yeah, I don't think the problem is that you don't have enough calcium. I think the problem is that your body shuts down that process. Yeah. So it's why... The question is, why do you have an impairment in the release of calcium from where it's stored? So you have enough calcium. It's just the problem is the body is no, we're going to shut it down.
And does the body do this to protect itself?
Correct. Yeah. So I think everyone thinks hey, we always want to prevent fatigue, but actual fact, the body's trying to, fatigue is there to protect the body from
overexertion.
Yeah, because the most extreme example is that if you fatigue the body to a very, very extreme extent, is that you're going to completely deplete ATP in the muscle.
Yeah.
And if you do that, your muscles cannot relax. So you're going to be in like a constant like contraction, like a cramp, right? Okay. So it's like when people die or like, you know, what happens, you have rigor mortis, right? Rigor mortis happens is that because the body doesn't have an ability to restore the ATP in its body anymore. So it's still consuming energy. It uses everything up. And then the body ends up locking up in position. That's rigor mortis.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the most extreme example of completely depleting your body of ATP is rigor mortis. And you don't want that.
No. Okay.
Du har väl också pluggat mycket om ATP?
When you do like
we both are PTs, so we study a lot on
so
ATP.
We know everything about ATP.
Okay.
Like this much.
Yes. The only thing you learn in the PT utbildning, education is that like if we use ATP, when you use ATP, it takes like a while to get it back. It's the only thing you learn.
No, not true actually. Yeah, you can get ATP back pretty fast. Yeah, within seconds.
Within seconds?
Yeah, maybe it'll like fully resynthesize and maybe like it'll resynthesize pretty extensively in 30 seconds and maybe fully in like 3-5 minutes. Yeah.
When you do like powerlifting, you do like 3 to 5 repetitions.
Yeah.
And they rest like 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
10 to 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Why is that?
I don't know, but you don't need 10 minutes to fully recover your ATP energy stores. Yeah, but
Is this a common thing in like lifting?
Yeah.
That people they rest.
You rest a lot.
Up to 15 minutes.
Yeah.
But
I mean, for example, I don't really know. I mean, I don't know powerlifting so well.
Yeah.
But I mean, if for example you have metabolite accumulation, I don't know. Do you feel like you're getting like lactic acid buildup during powerlifting? Not so much.
No, not so much.
Really.
No.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So that wouldn't really explain it. I mean, I guess you're just really giving your muscle a lot of time to recover from fatigue and whatever the cause of that. I don't really know. Yeah.
When you trained archery, what was the recovery time between
shots?
Yeah.
20 seconds, maybe. Yeah. 20 seconds between shots. And then when you go to get your arrows, you have like a few minutes to walk down the field, pick up your arrows, go back in. Yeah. I wish I knew a little bit more about nutrition back then because it would have been helpful.
But, sorry, Muskler, you can.
How is the calcium system muscle affected by different types of training? Strength versus endurance?
We actually don't know very much about how the calcium system is affected by strength training. No one's looked at it. But that's something that we want to look into pretty soon. But in terms of endurance, like what could happen is that your calcium stores aren't necessarily improved per se, but what happens is that your ability to resynthesize ATP becomes better, and your ability to remove metabolite like milk sera and stuff like that is like much faster. So like you have maybe like improved blood vessel flow to like the muscles, and you have more mitochondria during exercise. So mitochondria are the powerhouses of your muscle. They produce ATP, right, from, breaking down different substrates to oxygen. And if all of that improves, then you're going to have an improved ability to preserve calcium release, right? Because one of the factors, let's say it's metabolite accumulation, like less hydrogen ion accumulation, less inorganic phosphate accumulation. It could be due to the fact that you're less reliant on breaking down ATP without oxygen, if I want to explain it in a very simple way. And then if you less rely on that, you're going to have less metabolites, and then you're going to perform better, right? Like definitely training is going to improve calcium release by producing fewer metabolites, and those metabolites will less likely inhibit the ability to release calcium. And then when it comes to glycogen, you can actually increase glycogen storage inside your muscle with endurance training. So if you like keep doing endurance training over time, you actually have an improved ability to store glycogen.
What kind of endurance training? Every kind of endurance training or something special?
Anything that really depletes muscle carbohydrate stores. So if you really deplete glycogen, like you really are doing like exercise, sustained exercise, like it could be, I don't know, MMA training where like you're doing like hours and hours of training and you feel like toast, dead. Yeah. That could be muscle glycogen depletion. And what that'll do is that'll stimulate your muscle to store even more glycogen inside the muscle. It's called glycogen supercompensation. It's a pretty well-known phenomenon.
But is it long? Like, do you have to train for a long time for this to happen, or is shorter more explosive?
I think already within one exercise session, that you will have glycogen supercompensation within, let's say, 2 or 3 days after you do a training session. Glycogen will be even higher than it was before you did that training session. Yeah.
Could you like train the body to regulate calcium more effective? Is that possible?
Yeah, I think we're kind of on a similar topic. Like to regulate calcium more effectively, you want to produce less metabolites.
Yeah.
Or you want to be optimizing your muscle carbohydrate stores to kind of prevent that from depleting and then inhibiting the ability to release calcium.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can I jump in with a question?
Yeah.
For like everyone watching that trains MMA, with thinking about competing.
Yeah.
How would you say they should think about the recovery?
How you should think about recovery?
Recovery after training. What is the best thing to do? What do you think it's the best thing to do?
Like how many days have to, when you're like really empty, you're tired in every muscle.
Yeah.
How many days do you need like to fully recover your body?
Yeah.
Like keep in mind too, maybe the ones that they train for 5-6 days a week, 2 times a day.
Yeah.
So you gotta just.
That's like one rest day. Is that enough, or do you think you need more? Like to fully recover your muscles?
I think I think it depends. It depends on like what level of athlete you are. Mm-hmm. Like if you're training in the very beginning, you're probably going to get like a lot of muscle soreness. So probably in the beginning, like you're going to need like a week of recovery between like training sessions because you're going to have like a lot of muscle damage, right?
Yeah.
But as you get more experience, you probably don't get sore anymore, right? After like training sessions.
We just get tired.
Just tired.
Yeah, so maybe the problem shifts from like muscle soreness, being someone who's just getting into MMA, to more like energy-related problems, nutrition-related problems. So like later on, I think what you want to do is just making sure that for recovery, you want to maximize nutrition for sure. I think that's like a really big one. Eating definitely properly, eating a lot of carbohydrates, eating protein.
We talked about timing.
Yeah, timing.
With carbs, what timing is the best for carbs?
Yeah, I mean, timing with carbs, like definitely as soon as possible. So whenever you've done your training session, like you want to be eating like carbohydrates like right away.
Yeah.
And it could be over time. Like for example, if it's not convenient, it could be like you're at the gym and you're just going to be taking in like a sports drink or anything with carbohydrates, something simple, right, that you can have. Like it could be a banana, I don't care. But, the more carbs you eat, the better, the faster. But like maybe within 2 hours, you definitely want to be having like, your proper carbohydrate meal. And then when it comes to protein, I think, we talked about that before, that protein intake. I think most people eat enough protein.
Yes.
I think it's about timing of protein intake. So you want to time your protein intake kind of in and around your training session. So like before training, you want to make sure that you are, consuming maybe a bit of protein before you do your training. So you're not in kind of like, you're not breaking down your muscles. Like you're already hungry and then you're going to a training session where you're like, causing muscle soreness or whatever the circumstance is, you're breaking down your muscles even further. Maybe you don't want to do that. So maybe you want to have a little bit of protein before you do your training, or even during your training, having protein or carbohydrate during your training. And then even afterwards, as soon as possible, within your 2-3 hour window, you want to be making sure you're eating protein. Yeah. And like, you know, I think a perfect thing that is both protein and carbohydrates is like chocolate milk. It doesn't have to be chocolate milk. You know, it could be like, you know, could be like whatever. I don't know, eggs and banana. It could be anything.
Eller en proteinshake från
Tränar.
Yeah.
Regarding taking supplements.
Yeah.
Should we be cautious with the antioxidant supplements post workout to avoid interfering with the calcium related adaptions?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, there's a good amount of research out there with antioxidants. They don't affect muscle growth, but what it's known to do is that they will inhibit the ability to grow those mitochondria, right? So the mitochondria that help you with endurance, okay, you know, when you get fatigued and so forth, if you consume antioxidants, your endurance performance will not improve if you take antioxidants, right?
Okay.
So it's pointless.
So don't take it. Yeah.
Don't eat your berries.
Yeah, don't eat your berries. Well, what's really known is that actually you need the free radicals to stimulate that adaptation. So you need free radicals to actually, so when you take antioxidants, you actually are inhibiting the ability for the muscle, the signaling, to tell your muscle to fix itself.
Yeah.
Okay.
So regarding that, what's the most common misconception you hear about fatigue?
What's the most common misconception?
Fatigue and cold water.
Okay.
Both of them.
Cold water immersion. Well, actually, I don't know so much that's been done on like cold water immersion fatigue, because usually you do the fatiguing exercise first and then you do cold water immersion. So cold water immersion is more of an interest on recovery, right? And I think the most common misconception is that, it's a good question. I should ask you, like, what do you think cold water immersion is doing?
Now that we had talked about it a bit.
Yeah, but before you talked about it, what did you think?
Before I was with each other. I always thought before that like you should do it right after training.
Yeah.
But after we talked about it, so I think that is like a misconception. People do cold showers right after they lifted heavy.
Yeah.
So I think a big misconception is that you should do it right after training.
Yeah.
When in fact, like we talked about, it can prohibit muscle growth.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, like, but what were you thinking that it was helping with? What were you thinking? Oh, it helps.
I thought
energy boost.
I thought before, like 2-3 years ago, it was like the best for recovery for your muscles to like be fresh.
Oh yeah, like this.
I tried both of them.
Yeah.
Doing cold water immersion before training.
Yeah.
And after.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's in my head, but before I did it before training, I thought I got more energy.
Yeah.
I did it a couple of times before training.
Yeah.
I ran a Swedish mile, no problem.
Yeah.
Before that, I didn't like it.
Yeah.
10 kilometers.
Yeah. No, but I mean, you know.
And I don't like running.
Yeah.
But when I did it exactly before, like I jumped into cold water and I ran a minute after.
Yeah.
I felt
but
really
it's
good.
like pre-workout.
Yeah.
Like you get
but now that we talked, I know that it's not pre-workout.
Yeah.
It's life.
Yeah, well,
what I mean?
I can understand.
So it was in my mind.
Yeah, well, it's not just in your mind, but it's the fact that if you go into cold water, I mean, it stimulates like adrenaline, right? It stimulates adrenaline and like, you know, other hormones that are increasing alertness. So there is like an physiological mechanism for why you're feeling more alert. So it is kind of like a pre-workout. You're right.
Yeah.
It is a pre-workout.
And does it prolong the fatigue?
Well, if you're going to feel more alert than normal, then maybe that will help performance in some way. It's not something that I've studied, actually. But I can imagine that if for some reason you're feeling tired, like, I don't know, let's say you're jet-lagged or something like that, you're not feeling really sharp, that maybe there could be a circumstance where you then go into an ice water bath at that point in time. You get that adrenaline kick, and then now, like, you're sharp and you're ready to go, right?
I think that's the best for like a hangover.
Yeah.
Yeah. But a cold shower, you feel better immediately.
I've tried cold water immersion with everything.
Yeah.
Smoked, drank alcohol, nothing.
Yeah.
Jet lag.
Yeah.
The best feeling I had was with nothing.
Yeah.
With nothing in my body, so I
Yeah.
could be 100%
Yeah.
focused.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But I
For
think
sure.
like if you think it's good, then it's like good for you. Like placebo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like placebo
Yeah.
works.
Yeah, exactly. No, for sure. I think that is a big factor of cold water immersion is that people feel better from it, right?
Yeah,
There
yeah.
is that component. Like I told you though, but it's like an adrenaline kick or like you feel more alert and of course you feel better. So if that helps, then fantastic, right? That's why you could use it. But, I'm a muscle researcher and when I study it from a muscle perspective, cold water immersion either does nothing or it's detrimental. Like it's bad. It's bad for muscle.
But how cold do you have to get for it to be bad? So how long do you have to take like a cold shower after training for it to be bad for your muscle growth?
Yeah.
5 seconds.
Yeah. So So what is it? There's that 2015 study, and it was a really good study where they looked at 12 weeks of strength training, and then after every strength training session, one group of people went into an ice water bath, 10 degrees Celsius for 10 minutes.
Okay.
And then they did that for 12 weeks, and it reduced muscle growth in 12 weeks.
Yeah.
So then 10 minutes of 10 degrees Celsius is enough to cause problems.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But because I always say I have some kids at where I train, but always take cold showers after training, and I always tell them stop, don't do it, do it at home later.
Yeah.
But that's no problem.
Yeah.
Because it's not cold for like 3-4 minutes.
Yeah, cold shower is not going to do anything to your body temperature.
Yeah.
It's not going to affect. It's so little, like it's not going to affect
Is
anything.
it the difference between like a cryo chamber
Yeah,
or an ice bath? It's the same.
same. I mean, it's cold. It doesn't really matter how you deliver the cold. It's the same premise.
Okay.
Yeah. It's just like how cold is it?
Yeah.
So if it's even colder, then it can cool your body even more. That's
Have you tried cryokambare?
Yeah.
Have you tried it as well?
No, I haven't
I
tried
have a
it.
friend who works as a biologic.
Do you get cold fast? Like, do you think your core temperature drops
ice
fast?
bath is much harder because
Yeah.
you get cold fast.
But you're not as cold, right? Because
No, I think
cryokambare
it's
is very
like
cold.
87 or 90 degrees, minus.
Oh.
Yeah.
I think the transfer of temperature, like the cold, is
Yeah.
faster with liquid.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's why. Even if you have really cold air, I think it doesn't probably work as fast as like water directly
'cause it's,
contacting your skin and absorbing the heat away, or more
No, 'cause
specifically,
it doesn't feel as hard as.
It doesn't feel as hard.
Nah.
Okay.
So, and you can stand up, you can move. When you're in the ice, you're sitting. So
Yeah,
I don't know.
Oof, and you don't want to move in the water.
Yeah.
It's so cold when you move.
Yeah.
I
It was
think I
making
did
me laugh today. Fuck.
I think I did the same thing with myself, what you did with your research. For a whole year, I trained, and after that, I did a cold water immersion.
Yeah.
10 Swedish degrees for like 10-15 minutes.
Yeah.
And I did
That's why you didn't
So
get
that's
big.
and I didn't want to do it for the energy or stuff like that. I only did it for weight loss because I heard that the brown fat thing.
Okay. Okay.
Where
I
are you
want
on
to talk
that?
about that. I want to talk about
Put
that.
on
Brown
your
fat.
foliehatt.
Yeah. Let's hear about this brown fat.
In an adult, there's pretty much like no brown fat in the body.
Thank you.
Yeah. So only in babies is there some brown fat, and I think it's like underneath like your collarbones or something like that. And so in humans, there's like really no brown fat. So the premise of cold water immersion stimulating brown fat doesn't apply
That's
to humans.
bullshit.
Our fat is
It
yellow.
originates from probably mouse studies because mice have brown fat, but it doesn't transfer over to humans. in
That's a
that
big
context.
myth I heard.
We have
Yeah.
yellow fat.
Yeah, big myth.
Now
big
we
myth.
got a
So
assumption.
more myths about regarding cold water. Do you have more?
Yeah, what else?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we've just been really interested in studying it because like in the literature, like the results are all over the place. And we did publish a literature review to try and understand like what the heck is going on. Like, is cold water immersion beneficial or not? Or should we do heat or whatever like that? There's very little literature on like hot water immersion. or like heat effects, but more on cold. But the problem in the science is that everyone is doing different types of things with the cooling, right? So it's like, is it 10 degrees temperature, or is it 15 degrees, or is it 5 degrees Celsius? Typically people do 10 degrees though. And then it's like, well, what do I do? Do I do 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes? You know, like so then that makes a big difference. And then what type of sport are we talking about, right? Are we talking about football? Are we talking about sprint exercise? And what is the measurement that we're looking at? Are we looking at jump performance? Are we looking at bench press performance? And so it's like really all over the place. And so we have a project that we're doing right now, and we're writing it up. It's unpublished, but we hope to have it out, where we're trying to understand, well, what is it? Why is there such inconsistent effects in the literature on the effects of ice water baths? And from a muscle perspective again.
Yeah.
And so we're like, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to stick someone's like leg in an ice water bath, and then we're going to assess muscle strength and power every 10 minutes, over an hour.
Yeah.
So we're going to take it to the extreme again, right? So, but we're going to also look like, is there any benefits after 10 minutes of cold water immersion, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, 50 minutes, all that kind of stuff. And then what we ended up seeing is that what was a really interesting result of this, and is pretty new, is that your power, your ballistic performance can already be reduced after 10 minutes of 10 degrees Celsius water immersion.
Shit.
So the implication of that is that, like, if you're doing if you're doing MMA, or you're doing kicking, you're doing punching, that your power is going to be reduced.
Less. Yeah.
Now
until you get warm again.
Until you get warm again. So the only implication of this is that, okay, well, if you did cold water immersion before you did a bout, right? Then like right after you get out of an ice water bath, and then you're going to jump in the arena, and then you're going to start to like go.
Yeah.
That's like probably an implication of something you don't want to do.
But if you do like a light jog, you won't be impaired.
In what context?
Like after an ice bath.
Yeah, if you do
like
a light jog, if you do a light jog, then power is not as power is not in it's not explosive, right? It's like submaximal performance, so it's not as affected.
But it's still affected, but not like that's not what you measure.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
We measured strength as well. Yeah. So like strength, like if you're gonna do like a bench press or something like that, we measured strength, and
did it improve?
It didn't. Actually, cold water immersion did nothing to strength until about 30 minutes of cold water immersion, which nobody does, right? So strength is really not affected until you take cold water immersion to the extreme. So from 30 minutes to an hour, then your strength is going to be decreased.
And did you do a bench, or did you do a leg extension?
It was like a leg, like lifting. It was like a dorsiflexion. Toes.
You can feel like now when we were there at the ice bath, like when the cold water, you feel stiff.
You feel stiff. Yeah. So you feel stiff.
I can imagine like try to jump after a cold plunge.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
What about the other one, that your testosterone level hires 200% after a cold water? Is that a myth too?
Martin!
This guy, he's not here. He loves it.
Let's put it this way. When things sound too good to be true, they're probably not true. Because in science, like the performance enhancing effects and the effects on physiology are pretty small, typically. So I doubt that testosterone will increase 200%. I haven't measured it. I haven't looked at it.
Yeah.
I'll have to look into the literature a little bit more to kind of see how that would affect things. But like, even if it does increase testosterone, which I don't think it probably does, but even if it does, I mean, increasing testosterone is not going to immediately affect your performance. Testosterone has no effect on your immediate exercise. Yeah. The only thing testosterone does, it would affect recovery. Yeah. Like it would affect the repair of muscle. That's what it would affect.
So the higher part of your testosterone, does it recover faster, or how is it? Like the level of your testosterone, if it's high enough, is the recovery going faster or? Faster.
Yeah, should be. Yeah.
So where does all the bullshit come from? Regarding cold water immersion. I mean,
Foley hats.
I mean, you have seen the guy who works with Dana White in the UFC, the human protocol.
Yeah.
Vad heter han?
No, I'm actually not aware. But I mean, listen, I know so many people. I was asked here I was at the sports medicine doctor conference here in Sweden, and one person was in charge with the tennis academy in Sweden. And they're like, hey, like all the athletes want to have ice water baths. And they're like, well, you know, but should we do it? And I'm like, I think it's just a lot of money wasted, to be honest. But it depends on, like, in tennis, I can still understand some benefits of an ice water bath because, like I said, the one circumstance where an ice water bath would be really beneficial is if you're exercising in a hot environment.
Yeah.
So if you are going to have a competition in a very hot environment, like the arena is going to be like really warm, it definitely will affect the performance if you cool the core body temperature. That's one circumstance where a cold water immersion will be beneficial for sure.
What about in a MMA gym?
Yeah, because
The temperature goes high.
but not also that we get like punched and injured.
Yeah.
Do you think the cold is good for then like bruises and stuff like that?
I mean, that's always been, of course, an assumption, right? Like as in physiotherapy, you put on ice to help reduce swelling and inflammation.
Yeah,
all
what
that
you
kind
call
of stuff.
it, rest, ice.
Yeah. I mean, I think the ice is beneficial from reducing pain.
Yeah.
Yeah. So definitely, you know, if you're feeling like really sore after a fight or after a competition,
But not recovery
it
for
doesn't
pain.
affect recovery,
For pain.
but it will help you feel better.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think it does work from that perspective.
And same like when you feel better.
Yeah. Feel better. Yeah. It'll help inhibit pain. I think it will probably help from that circumstance.
The best thing for me personally about ice bathing was like mental.
Yeah.
Because I didn't believe like that I would get something in the way of recovery from it. But mentally, I thought, because it's so difficult to get be in there.
You feel sharper.
It's so difficult to be in there for long.
Yeah.
So I felt it like in everything. When I trained like endurance, I did norska intervaller.
Yeah.
Do you know norska intervaller? It's 4 minutes on the bike, 3 minutes rest, 4 rounds.
Okay.
And you don't want to get lactic acid, but you go under the limit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's so difficult, and when I did the ice bath, it was so much less force on my brain.
Yeah.
I felt like my brain had more power.
Yeah, but when you do that 4-minute exercise, if it's causing an increase in your core body temperature, then you're going to have a lot of your blood flow going to your skin and trying to expel heat, right? Mm-hmm. And if that happens, your performance is going to drop. So it makes sense that when you're in an ice bath, if your core temperature is increasing, you go into an ice bath, you're going to reduce that core temperature, you're going to bring blood flow back into your core, and you're going to feel better.
Yeah.
So I can see why it would be beneficial from that perspective.
Yeah. But what do you personally do, like for mental training? Because you do detta and rundan or a long distance. Do you do something for mental preparation?
No.
You're just mentally strong. Yeah?
Not mentally strong. It's just like, okay, like, all right, just be prepared as much as you can.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know, whatever I have no control over, I don't worry about it. I think that's it. Like, I think that's the biggest thing. Not even training, just in my life.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't have control over something, don't worry about it. Because there's nothing you can do about it. But you can control, like training, nutrition, sleep, then just worry about those.
Yeah. Have you always been that kind of person? Or has it developed?
Okay. As a child. Okay, maybe it wasn't like that. I don't know when I developed, but I think I heard of something during university about that, where it's like, don't worry, like people get so stressed out right now, right? And it's like, how can you control stress? And I heard someone saying one time, it's like, well, just don't worry about things you don't have control over, because it's completely uncertain. You have no control over that. And it was, for me in university, like an exam.
Yeah.
I have no control over what the questions are. So why am I worried about it? What I can prepare for is prepare my best to study, right? To study the different questions, practice as many exam questions as I can on my own. That's what I have control over. I don't have control over the exam questions.
Yeah,
we got a good saying that in Sweden, du kan inte kontrollera vädret, men du kan kontrollera seglet.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you understand that one?
Yeah.
That was
control.
good.
Yeah, the
I have not
sales,
heard it.
yeah.
Poetic.
Very good. Yeah. Yeah, similar.
Yeah.
So you studied recovery on muscle.
Yeah.
Is there any other field that you could recover the muscle than cold water, hot water, sauna, and stuff like that?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think, we are beginning to study hot water immersion as well. So we don't really know what are the benefits of hot water, but that's something we're going to look at. To me, it scientifically seems to make better sense for recovery because generally cold water immersion, why it doesn't kind of make sense is that you're slowing down metabolism. Like recovery is about metabolic processes, right? And if you cool everything happening inside the muscle and all the activity and enzymes, you're slowing everything down. Whereas if you heat it, that would be the opposite. You accelerate all of these processes. So, but we don't know if the hot water immersion is going to work because, like you said, you can cool a lot with no problems, but you can only heat by like 5 degrees max, right? So does 5 degrees Celsius make any difference to your recovery? We don't know that. What are other things that can help recovery? As we talked about carbohydrates, definitely maximizing your carbohydrate intake. So like, for example, right now in the Tour de France, like even during exercise, they're consuming like up to about 120 grams per hour of carbohydrates, which is like a ton. Yeah. So like people are trying to figure out ways to do that. And then during recovery, we're also very interested in doing that kind of research in our lab too, is how can you take in so many carbohydrates and different types of carbohydrates to maximize glycogen resynthesis and muscle carbohydrate storage. And so I think that's a big one right now is carbohydrates and recovery. What else can you do to speed up recovery? Yeah, like we said, protein, maybe maximizing like your protein intake immediately after within the first 2-3 hours of training.
How much protein?
Is
there any overdose of protein?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, if you eat too much protein, you're just it's going to become fat or whatever, right?
Do you eat more like than 2 grams by kilo?
Yeah, 2 grams per kilo per hour, is it?
I think something like that.
Yeah.
För tar på svenska, vad är det 1,8 va för att bygga?
1.8 grams.
Yeah. It's about 1.8 grams is kind of like the what is it? 2 grams per kilo per
day.
Body weight?
Per body weight, per day. Yeah, I think that's kind of well known.
I think just to keep the muscle the same way, I think like 1.6, right?
Yeah.
So it's better to be under it than over it, because if you get over it, it's
you just too many calories. You
just get fat.
Yeah. I remember someone that was just eating a lot of whey protein one time because they thought that built muscle, but I mean that's just extra calories and you just become fat from it, right?
Mm-hmm. So I work in a kostskott nu.
Supplement store.
Yeah, supplement store.
Yeah,
and so many people like going for like, I'm gonna take this shake like 8 times a day. It's like, bro, you need max 2.
Yeah.
Same with fat burners. This works. Like, no, it doesn't.
No, it's just food. I mean,
everybody wants like the fast way.
Yeah,
everyone
the fast way.
wants to employ you, right?
Yeah, but whey is convenient though, right? If you take whey or casein or something like that, is because it's like you can't eat like a piece of chicken or a steak.
Yeah.
After coming from the gym, so you take a shake. Like it still works.
Yeah.
So regarding your research about the cold water, we do cold water, and we do around 5 minutes, and the water is like around 3 degrees.
Yeah,
that shouldn't be any deficient regarding recovery to your body, right? It's too little time.
Yeah, either it's too. Let's just say it has minimal effect, or if anything, because it's 3 degrees. Right, not 10 degrees that's been studied in the literature. If it causes greater amount of cooling, then it could cause problems. But, I mean, probably it's not doing much. Either it's doing not much or it could cause problems.
Because regarding the stuff we talked about today, I'm on his side when he said it's because he likes it mentally.
Yeah.
I really like it mentally. It's like a drug.
Yeah.
When you do it a lot of times, you get stuck.
Yeah. No, I think there's other, like I said, the increased alertness. I think that's something that's worth investigating a little bit more if it hasn't already been, studied where like the cold water immersion really increases like that alertness feeling and the increase of
it does something in your head.
Sympathetic nervous system activity, like for sure, that increases with cold water immersion. But I think there's probably other psychological benefits to it. Like for example, like no one likes going in the cold, but it's like a control situation. It's like if I can go into the cold and I can survive that, it's like it gives you confidence. Right? Yeah. So I think I can do something. You start, like say you start your day off and you do an ice water bath. You've already started your day where you've conquered something that is uncomfortable. So I think it sets your day off on the right path.
What do you do that's uncomfortable?
Well, I used to do like cold water, like cold showers in the morning. I used to do that for a period, and then I stopped doing it because it's uncomfortable.
Yeah. I also did that like for 2 days also.
So I used to do like cold showers in the morning for a period of time.
Mental warfare,
huh?
Mental warfare.
Yeah, I mean it's not practical to like turn on the water in a bath and like
wait.
Do
my bed in the morning.
Bed in the morning. Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I don't know what else.
Swap.
Okay.
But now nothing that's uncomfortable except the bicycle seat.
Yeah, exactly. Except the bicycle seat. No, nothing really other than that, to be honest. I think there are even potential benefits of maybe, it's not my area of research, but possibly even like, people that have like depression or something like that. There can be some maybe benefits of cold water immersion.
Yeah, because I heard about, Wim Hof.
Yeah.
He was talking about like the first time he did it. I don't know if it's true, but his wife
jumped from the window, right?
Took suicide. So he jumped like in the cold water, and that was like the first time he was thinking about something else than it's like his dead wife.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but it's when you do something that's uncomfortable, it's hard to think about other stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And you get dopamines and everything about it. So.
Yeah.
Exactly. Have you seen a lot of him or?
Wim Hof, not so much, no.
It was interesting, like they had made a documentary about him, and they had done a lot of tests. They injected him with viruses.
Yeah.
Have you seen this?
No.
And his immune system.
It was something crazy.
I heard about him that some things about him is bullshit, because they done it about his brother too. And it was like they are biological gifted. That's why they can, like the immune system, everything's good. It's not because of the ice bath.
Yeah. That makes more sense.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think exactly. I mean, that's definitely his niche and where he's. I mean, I don't know. I'm.
Because he got so popular at one time.
Yeah, he became so popular. Yeah, for sure. But I mean, where's the science, right? That's the whole question of like what I'm trying to be. Like, where's the science?
Yes.
And to me, like, I mean, as a researcher where I'm not invested in any ice bath company or anything like that, to me, it's just like, what does the science say? I don't care if hot water immersion works or cold water immersion works. What does the science say and whether it's helpful or not, right?
And everything is a business, right?
Yeah, everything's a business. Like, I totally understand that. But, I mean, I don't want to completely say cold water immersion is, like, bad. I think you have to understand why are you using it and what are you trying to improve.
Yeah.
I think that's the key.
Like today when we went.
Yeah.
What did you feel like?
You feel great.
Yeah.
You feel cold. You feel fresh.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, you feel awesome for sure. But I think it's more of a.
You should understand what you're doing.
It's not it's a wellness thing. It's not a muscle thing. It's like, increased sympathetic nervous system activity, increasing adrenaline, noradrenaline, or whatever, hormones to make you feel better. I think that's kind of part of it.
Yeah.
So I love jumping into cold water.
Yeah.
I feel great, but I know it doesn't help my muscles.
I think it gets so big because when you see LeBron James, Ronaldo, and every teenager looking at them, it's like they do it. I have to do it.
Yeah. But I think it's okay. I mean, I love doing cold water baths because you feel good. You feel good, and I mean, what more do you want?
Yeah, just.
I have another question about recovery.
Yeah.
What is the best thing to do? Is it best to build strength for recovery, or is it better to be like endurance?
I mean, again, it really depends on like, are you a strength sport or are you an endurance sport, or are you a combination of the two? So like if you're a power lifter, endurance isn't so important, strength is important. But if you're a marathon runner, endurance is super important, strength is not important. So those are the two extremes. So I think you have to really think, like, depends on your sport.
If we're talking about like, now I know you're not super in the know about MMA.
Yeah.
But if we're talking about like MMA,
Yeah.
what do you think is it? Because when you're doing MMA training, it's maybe not so much strength. It's strength because you're lifting people and taking them down. But do you think you need more strength training to get better endurance, or is it unnecessary?
Yeah, I mean, I think
For the recovery.
Maybe it's better for you guys since you do the MMA. Like, what do you think is more important? Do you think fatigue is more important, or do you think like being stronger than your opponent is important, or both?
Yeah.
For me, I think it's a combination of both.
Yeah,
we need both, of course.
Yeah.
But for me personally, I think to have better endurance in your muscles, you can fight for longer.
Yeah.
You can.
We talked about earlier because when we fight, we feel like the lactic acid is the problem. It's always like the first thing that you feel like tired.
Yeah. So there's two questions there. So the first question is strength or endurance more important? I think it depends on the sport.
Yes.
And kind of from what you tell me, I think both strength and endurance are important.
Yeah.
Because if you're not strong enough, you can't take down your opponent. Right?
Yeah.
You need to be stronger, but you need to have strength endurance. You need both strong, and then you need to build endurance, right?
Yeah, upon that, yeah.
So typically, like with strength training, you'd be doing that, in many sports, like off season, right? So like when you're kind of not in competition time, you start to kind of build up that strength, gain muscle mass, build up that strength. And then after you've done that for a period of time, then you start to focus maybe on the endurance. So whatever muscle you've grown, you start to make that muscle have better endurance. So I think that is probably, I can imagine, beneficial for MMA.
Yeah.
For you, should you train them separately or at the same time?
I think probably you can train them at the same time, but I think you want to focus on them at different times.
Yeah.
Okay.
You probably want to do strength training more in one time. Not that you can't do endurance, but you want to be focusing on strength more so that you can maximize that. Because when you're growing your muscles, that's something that's stimulating your muscle completely differently than when you're endurance training the muscle. And I wonder if maybe if you're trying to do both, you're not really maximally improving both, right? Like both are kind of improving, but neither is improving. Because how can you grow muscle and then like at the same time make it
because you can't recover enough to do both.
So I think to me it makes more sense to grow the muscle first, make it stronger, have bigger muscles, and then once you've grown the muscles, that takes a long time. And then after that, you build the endurance.
Okay.
I think that's classically how you do a training program.
People do like 8-week camps before a fight. And they usually do the strength, like you said, off season or before. And in the start of the camp. And then it gets more like endurance and then explosive power. And the last 3 weeks. 4 weeks.
The fast twitch muscles.
So you need typically to grow muscle, you need like a minimum of 10 to 12 weeks.
10 weeks.
But usually when you're in your first month 4 weeks of training, all of the strength adaptations are not muscle growth. It's like neural adaptations. It's just like your brain and the nervous system activating the muscle more efficiently. That's what's happening in the first month.
In which time frame do you see results? Is it 10 to 12 weeks or
12 weeks? 10 to 12 weeks. So you need 10 to 12 weeks to like set aside for like building muscle.
Okay.
And then the other question is like lactic acid, right? So I think it's important to talk about this because there's a lot of misconceptions about lactic acid and how it causes fatigue. And I'll kind of say that, does it cause fatigue? And yes, it does. But it's not the way people think it does. And some of those earlier studies, the first study that was done looking at the effects of lactic acid on muscle fatigue was done at Karolinska by my postdoc advisor. And what he did was he took mouse muscle that was alive and he put it in an amount of lactic acid that would replicate like very high intensity exercise. Okay. And what happened to the muscle? Nothing. It didn't do. Yeah. It didn't decrease. It didn't cause any fatigue or nothing. Like so, if the lactic acid caused fatigue, the muscle should have like gone weaker, right? But it didn't. And so, how does lactic acid cause fatigue then? So lactic acid actually, how it's known to cause fatigue now, is more like a brain-related thing. And what it does is that there's nerves called like muscle afferents, and what they do is they detect metabolites inside your muscle. They're metabolite sensors, chemical sensors. And what they do is when they detect lactic acid, and not just lactic acid, but also if your muscle pH is decreasing, and also if ATP concentration is changing, when those three things are present, it signals back to your brain that there's like a pain response. Yeah. So that's where lactic acid is happening, is that it's a nerve signal coming back to your brain telling you to not push any harder. So it's not that the muscle can't perform with lactic acid present. Muscle doesn't care. But it's actually signaling up to your brain to tell you to stop. Yeah. So that's where lactic acid causes fatigue, because it's causing you to have a lot of pain and you can't push harder, right? So what is one? Yeah.
How come?
Why? Because, well, if you keep, like, it comes back to this, like, fatigue is kind of a protective thing, right? Because if you keep pushing the muscle, ultimately there's an energy reserve. Yeah. And if you deplete all the energy reserves of the muscle, you can get, at the most extreme example, rigor mortis, right? Yes. The muscle will be in complete contracture and can't relax anymore. So that's the extreme example of if you really fatigue the muscle a lot.
Have you felt it, like, after a fight, but you cannot relax?
I felt it more when we've been running at Hammarbybacken. It's like a
yeah.
Then I've been like, because it was I think it was last summer, we did like up and down, and Sebbe was with us. Yeah. And it was like, now it's time to carry shoulders up and down. I was like, we just pushed it. Yeah. And then like 3 hours later, we was here sparring. Yeah. And after I was like, my muscles like, I can't. And same when I was going to the car, because I had a glutch.
Yeah.
You know, when I was like, my legs just...
Yeah.
But is it dangerous?
Lactic acid is not dangerous. No, actually, if anything, lactic acid can converted into an energy source inside the muscle. Oh. So lactic acid is actually can reconverted to more energy into the muscle.
Like we do MMA fighters.
through processes that probably are not worth explaining here. Yeah. But yeah, it's pretty well known. So lactic acid, if you give the muscle lactic acid, or you give the body more lactic acid, you're giving it more energy. Yeah. But because actually there was a study done, I think it was at GIH here. I can't really remember, but they took muscle cells, so muscles in a dish, and what they did was they gave them more lactic acid because they wanted to understand if lactic acid has anything to do with muscle growth. And what happened with these muscle cells is they got bigger. But the misconception there was that it's some type of signaling that's happening through like that lactic acid, but it's not. You've just fed it more food. Is what's going on. So the muscles in the dish ended up growing more, right?
But how long does that take for it to convert to energy for the muscle?
I mean, it can happen pretty fast. Yeah, it can happen pretty fast. Yeah. So like if you produce lactic acid, typically after exercise, I think within 15 minutes, all the lactic acid would be cleared and out of your muscle and then reconverted.
Now I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Because it's very common that these people say like before a fight, 2 weeks before a fight, you should not train. You should not get lactic acid in your muscles.
No.
Is that a myth?
But what's the
it would, what I've heard, what people have told me before camp is like it will make you more tired in the match.
Yeah, no. I mean, but I want to know like, well, what are people saying? Because maybe it's not the lactic acid, but it's like, hey, don't push yourself too hard. Yeah. So therefore, you're going to be too fatigued and you're not going to be fully recovered before you do a match. To then, I would believe that, hey, maybe that makes sense. Yeah. Right? If you push yourself too hard, then you're going to be pretty fatigued and you're not going to be recovered as much. But not from the perspective of lactic acid.
Yeah. But if I push myself, like, I have done a long camp. I have 2 weeks left. Yeah. And the last week, I pushed myself really hard. Yeah. Is a week enough time to, like, fully recover from, like...
I heard, like...
6 week camp.
You should push yourself, like, we say you fight that Saturday. Yeah. Then, like, push yourself to Wednesday, about, like...
Veckan innan?
Yeah, then the same week.
Yeah.
But do a shorter training, but intense to peak.
I've heard the same, even in endurance sports or whatever. That same thing like you said. You know, you can still do high intensity, and that's often recommended to maintain your performance, to stimulate the muscle. But it's like you don't want to go fatigue it like crazy, right? So you can do high intensity, just don't like don't push yourself too hard, so that you're fatigued coming into like your match, for example.
But how long does it take for now you know it's different.
If it's like metabolites, like if it's like lactic acid or if it's like hydrogen ions that make your muscles like acidotic, these things all reverse within like 15 minutes. Okay. So any metabolite is like fixed in 15 minutes.
Something we usually do for like lactic acids is a fucking assault bike.
Okay.
Training.
Sucks.
It sucks.
Have
you done the assault bikes?
I've tried it before.
Intervals or
just a couple bouts, right? But I've done I've done different versions of that type of exercise on a bike. It's brutal. But it's very effective in stimulating stimulating the mitochondria. So the mitochondria to like get them to grow and be more, so you have better endurance. It's very effective in doing that. But the problem with that type of exercise is because it is so intense, you can like overtrain.
Okay.
So you have to balance it a bit.
One thing, the time is 4:30.
Yeah.
When do you need to?
Yeah, I'm still good.
We could wrap it up, or we could proceed.
Yeah, we can keep going for a bit. Yeah, it's okay. If you want. Yeah, I'm happy to answer your questions.
20 minutes, okay?
Yeah.
Bästa. But
okay, then I have that question.
Okay.
If you're a beginner, how long do you need on the assault bike to get the endurance like on a high level? How long will it take? From zero to elite.
If you just
from zero to elite, okay.
Well,
I mean, the benefits of an assault bike are going to be like immediate. Like if you're going from nothing, you could do anything.
Like beginner gains.
You could do anything and you'll be better by doing an assault bike. But to become elite, that's like years of training. But I mean,
it's like fuck.
But I mean, if you stick with doing that assault bike, and if you're not going to overtrain yourself, and you have like proper recovery, I mean, your performance is going to. I mean, I think it's already well known if you do high intensity interval exercise that within 2 weeks, you can definitely see an improvement.
Yeah, I feel
pretty fast.
Like now I have vacation, so it's not as much training and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I feel a big difference, like in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I feel like a big difference how I perform.
It's like when you told me I felt my body was fucking sore. You told me, hey, take a week.
Yeah.
I took a week, came back fresh. I ate good the whole week. I didn't do much. I just relaxed.
Yeah.
Like off.
I think assault bike. I think you have to be careful there though, because the benefits of assault bike, like the adaptations are fast, but they disappear fast too. So it's like not
Färskvara.
So I don't know if that's something you want to be doing like all year.
No.
But like maybe like at some point in the year you want to be focusing more on like, longer endurance type things. Or things that maybe kind of make you out of breath, but you're able to kind of sustain that level of endurance. Things that improve like heart function, that kind of stuff. And maybe high intensity you want to build in like much later. So as you start getting closer to competition, maybe you start doing a little bit more like in the later phase of training, you start to do maybe more high intensity. Unless though you don't have time. Like if we're talking about like people that aren't elite athletes and people that are like, listen, I don't have time, I have kids at home, whatever it is, like I just want to know how can I improve training, like best bang for the buck, then high intensity interval training or like, repeated sprints on like an assault bike are going to give you the best bang for the buck. You just have to be careful not to overdo it.
I have a question for you. How did you train for Vätternrundan?
Cycling a lot.
How long like camp did you have for it? Like
I didn't do any camp. I just like kind of went out on the road, and I was like, okay. At the time, I wasn't training that much, but at a minimum, I was like, okay, if I can just make sure that on my bike distance total, if I can already cycle, and get in my legs 1,000 kilometers of distance, to me, like not in one go, but at the start of the season before Vätternrundan in like mid-June, I mean, 1,000 kilometers is not a lot for elite cyclists. Because I mean, people that are really hardcore, like, when I used to do more cycling, like, you can easily do, 100, 150 kilometer ride, maybe even 200 kilometer ride, like people that are just amateurs, like it's not uncommon for them to do that in a weekend, like one day, right? But if you're building up from like nothing and doing Vätternrundan from scratch, I don't know, for me, doing it 3 times, like at a minimum, if you can build up 1,000 kilometers of distance in your legs, like once your odometer on your bike computer said 1,000 kilometers, to me, it's like, you're going to be okay. Like, you're not going to feel absolutely horrible, but nor are you going to be like killing it.
Do you think you could have finished Vätternrundan without any training?
I know people have done it.
Yeah. But you personally?
I wouldn't want to, but I'm sure I could, but it would be absolutely horrible. Because I've seen Vätternrundan, I've seen a lot of people like limping afterwards or injured on the side of the road. I don't want to be that person, because I think the problem is if you're not really trained properly, the worst thing that's going to happen is that you come out of it with a pretty bad injury, pretty chronic injury, right? Like, you've destroyed your knee tendon, or like, and then like you're messed up. Like, your ability to recover from that is not going to be like, I think that's the biggest thing about these things that are on like the internet, where people all of a sudden run a marathon with no training.
David Goggins.
You don't, David Goggins. Like,
Shout out
David
David
Goggins, amazing guy, super injured, right?
Yeah.
Shout out David Goggins.
Super injured. Yeah. So I think, like, I always think about that. It's like, well, like, how do you want to maintain your body over the long term and have like a long career? Like, if you plan on doing MMA for a long time, or you plan on cycling for a long time, you pretty much just don't want to be injured. And how do you not be injured? You have to like train.
Don't ask me.
Yeah. You have to like train, like, make sure you maintain like proper recovery. Yeah. And like, every time you're doing a training session, like, I think you have to do it like progressive training, progressive increase. Like, if you can't all of a sudden, like, I'm just going to go out there and like, just, do an assault bike, and do like 10 intervals of assault bike when you've done nothing before. Like, that's a bad idea, right? But like, maybe you want to do like, just build up one extra interval, one extra set, slowly build that up. That's going to be like safe in the long run. I think that's such a big problem with young guys, right?
Yeah, but you want gains fast.
You want to gain faster, yeah.
But you said earlier, we talked about strength. Yeah. It takes about 10 to 12 weeks to see results. Yeah. But how fast do you think you can get results from for muscle endurance? Like, and how fast do you come to like a peak?
Yeah. I don't know that, actually. Yeah, I don't. I think it depends on what type of endurance training you're doing. Like, for example, I think if you're doing high intensity interval exercise, I think you'll peak faster. Yeah. So you're gonna have rapid adaptation, and then I don't think maybe your max improvements are within like a few months or whatever. Yeah. But like, if you do kind of prolonged endurance exercise, like, where it's like pretty hard, like, let's say you do intervals of 5 minutes, 10 minutes, sustained, as hard as possible. That stuff is really hard, and I think you can probably see, more prolonged, more improvements over longer term from that. Yeah. Or if you do like prolonged cycling, 1 hour cycling, 2 hour cycling, I don't know, maybe those improvements still continue.
And that's what you said, that you should do less intervals, or like over the year, or you should do it in a period.
In a period. Yeah.
If you're an athlete.
Like, if you want to boost, right? Yeah. You want to boost your endurance, then do intervals, but just know that adaptation comes and goes fast. Yeah. So like, when you stop doing it, it's going to disappear more quickly. So you want to like maximize it within a period of time, but also make sure that you have a proper time for like recovery from that stuff. Yeah. And
so like all the young people that's training, they should not push themselves. You should not push yourself so hard. Yeah. All year. Yeah. But it's more okay to do like longer intervals.
Phases.
Phases.
Yeah. Phases of training, like in the off season, like right after competition, like let's say, I don't know, when is the MMA season?
We have like year round, but like on the summer
and like around Christmas are off.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. But
because we don't have like a league.
Yeah, right.
So
right.
It's
fall and
Fall.
Fall.
Autumn and fall.
Autumn and fall is like the peak of the season.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so you usually like.
Yeah, I usually do in summer. I usually like more strength training. And more like
summer is always strength.
Yeah. So I think that sounds right.
Also because the beach days.
You gotta look good.
Gotta go with a good pump.
I have a question about the recovery of for the muscle growth. You have talked a lot about carbohydrates.
Yeah.
How important is the sleep?
Yeah, very important.
Like
I think
90%, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think sleep is really important because when you sleep is when your body is recovering. So if you compromise sleep, you're compromising some part of your recovery. I'm not a sleep researcher at the same time, right? But to me, it makes complete sense.
Yeah.
I know there's been some studies done, especially I'm going to go back to rodents, and rodents are just interesting because you can't do all these things in humans. Yeah. But like what they did was they took rats, and there's a study done in the US, and they cut short the sleep of the rats by 1 hour every day.
Okay.
And
so what was their sleeping time then?
I don't know. Let's say it's 8 hours. I don't really know, right? But let's say you cut it short to like 7 hours every day. After a month, the rats ended up starting to have signs of diabetes.
What?
Yeah. Yeah. They started becoming diabetic.
Yeah.
But you see, with like low sleep, you get more stress. Everything
So I mean, that's not like a muscle thing, but like that's a health thing, right? Yeah. So like that was very interesting for me. Yeah, I saw that at a conference. I'm like, okay, yeah, that's pretty crazy.
Crazy.
Yeah. So I really try, even with my work, like whatever, you can get stressed and you have to work pretty hard, wake up early in the morning, that kind of stuff. I mean, I'm these days I'm a little bit more careful about making sure that I get proper sleep just to handle stress.
You can't get fired as well. So
yeah, I can't get fired, but yeah, like I mean, it's still like I think it's really really important something to focus on, especially for your mental recovery, for your physical recovery. Don't compromise on your sleep for sure, and also when you're going to competition abroad. When you got jet lag, like I know that if you really want to properly prepare for that, you want to be, like not sleep deprived, right? So you want to be there like a week beforehand just to kind of make sure that you are sharp.
Yeah, I did a mistake. I think it was 2 years ago. I fought in Thai boxing.
Yeah.
And I came home at, I think it was Thursday. I was going to fight Saturday.
From Thailand.
Yeah, from Thailand.
Yeah.
I'm going to fight Saturday.
Yeah.
Been training hard, everything. Like after the second round, like I was gone. Like my legs and muscles.
Yeah.
And I think it was because like I didn't sleep well, like jet lag.
Yeah.
Because Thailand is 6 hours time difference.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think that's a circumstance where sleep deprivation would be pretty common. And I know like in the Olympics, for example, a lot of athletes go far in advance to sleep, get on the proper sleep schedule.
Have you heard about this enhanced games?
Yeah.
Yeah? What do you think about that?
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean...
Have you seen the swimmer?
Yeah, no. Yeah.
It's huge.
But
his lats.
But his time, he swam like 50 meters, I think. Yeah. But his time decreased.
Yeah.
But he looked like a whole different person.
But I think also because he has too much muscles.
Yeah.
So like that's always done.
Yeah, the aerodynamics, right? And I mean, if you grow muscle, like, you're not aerodynamic.
Yeah.
And also if you grow muscle, that's necessarily great for swimming because, I mean, you need endurance.
Yeah.
More. Like you don't see big swimmers, right? Even if you do like 50-meter sprint, they're the biggest ones and they're not even that big. Yeah. Even 100-meter sprinters, they're the biggest and they're not even that big, right? 100-meter sprinters.
Oh,
I've seen
like they're big, but they're not powerlifter big.
No, like Noah Lyles.
Yeah,
Noah Lyles. Yeah, he's super fast. He's pretty skinny.
Yeah, it's not that big.
You just need the fast twitch muscles.
But I think it's funny with that because like when Usain Bolt won, the guy who came second, I think Tyson Gay, his name is, he was caught for doping, but not Usain Bolt. So it's like,
enhanced games are interesting. I mean, it's up to the people, of course, to decide whether or not they want to take performance-enhancing drugs. I mean, there are some known side effects of these drugs, and some of them are really bad and could lead you to death or.
This is the picture of him.
Okay. Yeah.
It was really big.
Wait.
Yeah.
Big guy.
Big guy.
Big guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's going to be fun to see like how fast a human can be.
Yeah.
But they pump so much money into this.
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean it's interesting, and certainly scientifically it's interesting. But just worry about the people's health in the end.
Yeah.
But it's up to them.
In Canada, do you have like in the States? But you have activities, after school activities like archery. Was that?
No, yeah, that wasn't. No, we do have like after school activities. Yeah, so there's like varsity sports, as it was called, or like after when I was in
like
hockey, baseball, track and field. Like a lot of indoor sports are very popular, and because just like here we have snow and winter, right? So then indoor volleyball. Basketball, that's pretty popular in kids.
It's called in the
bandy. No, we don't have bandy. No, not in the bandy.
Swedish thing, maybe.
Yeah.
Floorball.
Yeah,
floorball.
Yeah. We have floorball. For kids, right? For kids, and we played that, but no, there's no competition.
No.
But yeah, for sure, when you're at like high school level or gymnasia, it's like ice hockey.
Nice hockey.
Did you try? Did you play?
That's
your
national sport, right?
Yeah. Well, actually, our national sport is lacrosse.
Officially.
Right. Yeah. That's a very Canadian sport.
Facts straight, man.
Get your facts.
But our biggest sport is ice hockey.
Yeah.
But our national sport is lacrosse.
Okay.
Yeah.
You did a research about low intensity training versus high intensity training, right?
Yeah.
Like zone 2 and...
Yeah. Well, not so high intensity training versus low intensity training, but that was strength training.
Yeah.
Strength training.
Yeah.
So not endurance training. Yeah, for sure. So we wrote a review published at the beginning of this year where we were trying to understand the role of fatigue in stimulating muscle hypertrophy. Okay? Because it's a known fact now, and there's a lot of research on this, that if you do kind of low weight resistance exercise, so you're lifting weight in the gym, but it's not like tiny weights, but it's like, let's say you fail in like 30, 40, 50 reps kind of thing. Okay. Like you're still like you can't push the weight anymore after 30, 40, 50 reps. Now you continue to do that for like 12 weeks and you look at muscle growth. The muscle growth in that type of training is identical than if you lifted 80% of your 1 repetition maximum, so that you fail in like 8 to 10 repetitions.
Like
that would
really
be classic bodybuilder stuff, right? So you're pushing every set, you're doing 8 to 10 repetitions to failure. The muscle hypertrophy is the same if you do 8 to 10 repetitions to failure with high weight than if you lift a lower weight doing 30 to 50 repetitions.
Shit.
So it's many people have been able to prove that this is a fact.
During 12 weeks.
During, let's say, 12 weeks, because that's what 12 you need to show muscle growth, right?
But
is 12 weeks.
Stronger with the other one?
You get stronger with both.
Oh, same.
Yeah.
Same?
No. So that's interesting that you mentioned that. So hypertrophy is the same, but the strength adaptation is still better if you do the 8 to 10 repetitions.
Yeah.
But the question from that is it because there's also neural adaptations, right? So when you're pushing that really heavy weight, maybe there's better improvements in terms of like how you optimize your neural system in your brain and pushing heavy weight. So the strength gains are still better with lifting heavy. But if you're looking at just like aesthetics or like muscle growth, it's identical between the two. So we wanted to understand, well, what is it about this, low weight exercise? Because what's key to the low weight exercise is you have to push yourself to like exhaustion, to like complete fatigue, right? So if you push yourself to fatigue, what is it about fatigue that's important? So we tried to look at all those different factors that could be important, like lactic acid is one. But when you actually look into literature, lactic acid, doesn't affect muscle growth. Right?
Yeah.
And is it, any metabolite? There's no evidence that any metabolite produced by fatigue, like hydrogen ions, inorganic phosphate, any of that kind of stuff, has any effect on stimulating muscle growth. So what do we likely think is going on? Well, we think the mechanisms are pretty similar in that it has to do with like a mechanical stimulus on the muscle. So when you lift a heavy weight, you activate mechanoreceptors. So like the muscle, let's say, is under tension, and that will activate a mechanoreceptor that will then kind of trigger downstream factors that will stimulate rebuilding of the muscle. Now, why does that make sense for low weight exercise? Well, it doesn't initially, right? Because it's like low weight exercise. How can you have the same mechanical stimulus on the muscle because there's less weight? But the thing is that as you keep doing that exercise, the idea is that as you fatigue some of your muscle fibers, some of them are going to fatigue. You need to recruit more muscle fibers. Yeah. So as you recruit more of those muscle fibers, you recruit fewer muscle fibers, but they're activated a lot. So there's a lot of like then mechanostimulus that's being activated on those fewer fibers that are being activated. And then you continue to recruit more and more fibers until you completely recruit the whole entire muscle. So then the activation of the muscle is then maximal by the end of a low weight exercise, similar to what you get with a high repetition exercise. So that's kind of believed to be then a similar mechanism. So that's kind of what we wrote. But we don't really know.
What happens if you mix them?
If you mix them?
Yeah. I mean, you do the
strength and
high level.
Yeah.
And when you come to your max, then
Yeah.
you start to get down with the...
Decrease the weights.
Yeah, decrease the weights until you get to...
Well, I guess it's going to be a blend between the two. You're still going to have like hypertrophy. If you do a drop set, you're getting both. Like you're still going to get hypertrophy in the end if you do a drop set, and the mechanism is going to be the same.
So you don't get double muscle.
Yeah, but I think there might be other benefits. Yeah,
He wants to cheat training and diet.
Steroids.
It's the easiest way to cheat.
That's like, I've told you what you need to. I can call my guy. He comes today.
But I think there could be other things like this is like we're just talking about muscle hypertrophy, right? Yeah. So in terms of muscle hypertrophy, if you do like lower weight exercise to failure, you'll get the same hypertrophy. But of course, if you do more reps, you're training endurance of your muscle too, right?
Yeah.
So like you're also improving endurance. So and whereas you're not going to be doing that if you do 8 to 10 reps. So you actually kind of get a benefit of hypertrophy while also improving endurance. But if you do 8 to 10 reps per set, and you do the higher load, and if strength is what you want to improve, then you want to do that. Yeah. But I think it's pretty cool though for especially people that want to undergo muscle hypertrophy, that maybe less function, more just muscle growth. They want to look good. Then you don't need to go in the gym and lift necessarily heavy weights. You can do lower weight exercise, not have a risk of injury, and still get the same benefits of having muscle hypertrophy by lifting lower weights. And especially even in older people, like that don't want to lift the heavy weights is fine. Or if you had an injury, you lift the lower weight and just go to exhaustion, and you're still gonna get muscle hypertrophy.
That's been for me. I've had 3 surgeries on my knees.
Yeah.
And always the rehab says like leg extension, like 5 kilos.
Yeah.
But just
go to failure.
Yeah. If you go to failure, all of my therapists have been like, you're going to grow your muscles still.
Yeah.
So don't lift too heavy.
Yeah. So I would say, definitely do that.
How now maybe this isn't a question like that you have studied about, done research about, but how how exhausted do you want to get in your muscles for like to optimize the training in the week? Like if I do legs, how tired do I want to get if I have 2 more leg days?
If you have 2 more leg days,
is it like too tired?
What you mean to like big?
Yeah. Well, I think if you're doing like 3 leg days in a week.
Shit.
I mean, no normal person can do that, right? Then you're going to be like an elite athlete. And when you're an
Only
elite
girls.
But when you're an elite athlete, and if you can do 3 leg days without feeling like you're injured or you're sore before the next leg day, I mean, you're like pretty high level, right? You're going to be like elite level, so forth. In actual fact, you need to push yourself at that level to improve performance. Right? You have to push yourself that hard. Let's say, not that I know who does 3 leg days per se. But when you're at the elite level, you really need to push yourself to kind of improve your legs at that point. But if you're like, a beginner, if you do 1 leg day, you're going to need a week to recover. Right? So
I did legs with my girlfriend like last week, like hardcore, and I haven't done that for like 2 months.
Yeah.
Like my soreness is over now.
Yeah.
I was driving car like 6-7 hours a day.
Yeah.
Like my leg was so fucked.
Yeah.
I couldn't move.
The important part, did you hip thrust?
Yes, sir. I was training with my girl. So.
Did she take heavier weights than you?
No, it was the same, but I think she could have kept it.
She could have kept.
But deadlifts.
Mr Deadlift.
Was like, hade du något mer eller?
No question about your training.
I have told you about your diet.
So pros and cons with heavy lifting or lifting till you're finished.
Yeah, pros and cons. If you lift heavy, you're going to get stronger. Yeah. If you lift lower weights, you're going to grow your muscles just as well as, lifting heavier weights. And then you are less likely to get injured. So I think those are the pros and cons. From the training. Yeah.
The stronger you are, the more likely you are not to get injured in life, right? No?
Yeah, it depends on... I say depends a lot, but it's what sport are we talking about, right?
No, not in sport, like just
in life.
In life, living. If you're stronger, I guess, what depends on like what's causing that injury, really. I mean, but usually injury comes from like mechanical stress, like, overload. Mm-hmm. So if you're stronger, to me, it would make sense then that you're going to be less injured if you're stronger. Yeah.
Regarding health, what do you think about the more muscle you have on your body, the longer life you live?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, known fact. So 2 things that dictate, this is very much Peter Attia stuff too, right? I don't know if you know that. He's a podcaster in the US. But 2 things that are known to be associated with living longer or having a better quality of life. Yeah. Not that you're going to become 100 years of age, but you're going to have like, you're going to be able to, the quality of your life is going to be better, is, being stronger and having a high VO2, right? Yeah. Having a high VO2 max. Yeah. So the stronger your heart is, the longer that you're going to be able to have an improved quality of life. And if you're stronger too, Think about this. If you're like an old person and you're taking groceries back from Hem Shop or something like that, and if you're not strong enough to hold the groceries to walk home, you've now reached a critical limit of which you literally can't live on your own. Yeah. And if you can't walk up the stairs, you can't lift your body. You can't, and let's say you don't have an elevator in your leg and head, right? Then, you can't walk up the stairs. You can't live on your own either. So if you can't carry your own body weight, you've reached a critical threshold. Yeah. So that's the key is I think as we get older, when we're young, it's not a problem because we have kind of our peak muscle mass and so forth. But as you get older, you start to, lose your muscle mass naturally, right? And then until you get so weak that you can't maintain the muscle strength you need to do everything in your daily life. So to me, it makes complete sense that being stronger is better for, longevity. And the heart is the same thing. Like if your heart cannot maintain your ability to like walk down the street, if you get too like tired from doing that and you can't cross an intersection before the light changes, then you can't live in it. It's not safe for you to cross the street anymore. Yeah. So like your heart's ability to also function is really, really important. Like for me, I remember back in the day when I was just doing strength training. And like I'd walk upstairs and I would be like so dead, I'd be like really tired. Or I'd go cycling, I cycled to work one time. It was maybe only like a few kilometers away. And this first time I cycled to work. And I needed to like an hour to like recover afterwards because my endurance was so bad, right? It was so sad. And then that's when I kind of realized I need to have like a balance, right? Strength is good, but like you really need to have like cardiovascular capacity too, for health.
But it seems like it getting more popular now these days, like with high rocks training, CrossFit. Before it was like more bodybuilding, but it seems like more like hybrid athletes coming.
Yeah, for sure. With CrossFit, high rocks, you're getting all the. I think that's really cool. That people are having this like strength, endurance, and like function. Yeah. Like I think that's really cool. But don't get me wrong, I think Arnold Schwarzenegger still has like the best physique.
Big boy
That's
Arnold.
the problem we have in the society now with the elderly.
Yeah.
It's really bad. I mean, I talked to a radiologist, a doctor in the MRIs.
Yeah.
They showed me a picture. The bone was like this.
Yeah.
And the muscle around was just a layer.
Yeah.
Then the rest was like just fat.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
He said 70% of all the elderly today are like that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we have a huge problem.
Yeah, for sure.
How do you prevent
People just getting fatter.
Yeah, I mean, I've done some experiments like that on myself actually, because when I transitioned from strength training to like endurance, I was at the university we could go into something called the DEXA. So it's like dual energy X-ray absorbed geometry. It's a very low level X-ray that kind of goes on your body. And you can see, like, you can separate out, like, the bones. You can look at how dense the bones are. You can look at, like, fat mass, muscle mass. Yeah. And then you can, like, do a calculation. And it's, like, one of the most accurate ways to do, like, body fat percentage, for example, right? But you can also look at how much muscle do you have. You can also look at your bone density. And when I did strength training, like, and I did the DEXA, like, my bone density was, like, awesome, right? But then as I started progressing to cycling, my bone density went down. Yeah, especially in my arms. I wasn't doing, like lifting anymore in my arms. Okay. And so like my bone density was going like right down. So you need to like people that want to like, especially as you get older, definitely lifting the weight. So I guess that's another reason that you want to lift weight. Yeah. I don't know how heavy a weight you need to maintain bone density, but the higher the weight, the better for bone density.
I've been telling Martin, our other guy, this, but he's like, no, if you look at the Russian wrestler, they doesn't lift weights.
But I have seen for the elderly, they have like a certain type of gym that it's like you do static movements. Yeah. So like you hold a bar, or 2 bars like this, and you try to like stand up. You do like max effort for like, I don't know if it's 5 seconds, 10 seconds. Yeah. And that like that's a big weight, to help bone density.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I think the other thing that's also really cool, and I just mentioned this briefly, is there was a study done by my colleague where they looked at, like, as you get older, you lose muscle. Yeah. You lose muscle fibers. Yeah. The reason why you lose muscle fibers is that the nerves that are controlling your muscles from your brain, you lose the nerves. Okay? So if you don't do exercise, your nerves just start to die off. And this happens as you age anyways, and then over kind of your lifespan, these nerves will actually, they can recover your muscles to some extent. Like if your nerve endings die, it'll like go back and like attach onto muscle fibers that have like had the nerve pull off, right, from death. And so that can happen for a period of time. But then after all, if you don't exercise at all, this process continues, and eventually like it's called your motor neurons. And the motor neurons innervate your muscle fibers. And so you have like, this reduces in your life. And they did a really cool study where they looked at lifelong marathon runners. And what they showed was that in their legs, the nerves never disintegrated in old age. The nerves innervating the muscle fibers. So if you preserve your nerves, you preserve your muscle. Yeah. And what happened was in their legs, they looked just like a young person.
Even if they stopped exercising.
Yeah, the number of motor units, as it's called, the nerve connecting the muscle, were identical to a young person. Shit. But then they're like, well, but who is able to run a marathon into their old age? Like, what if they're just genetically gifted? So then they actually looked in their arms, and they looked at, well, what are the number of like motor units in the arms? And they were down, just like an old person. Yeah. So what does that tell you? It tells you the exercise is important in prolonging it, but like it's exercise specific. So like since the marathon runners are only training their lower body, that was protected. Yeah. But since they weren't training their upper body, it still aged as an old person.
Were the nerves damaged?
No, like the upper ones,
no,
in the legs.
Ones.
No, they were good.
They were good.
Not damaged. Like you don't see damage, but you just see the fact that the nerves are not activated. Okay. There's not as many nerves that are being activated when you're doing a contraction. So I think that's a really cool thing too, is that lifelong exercise is really important, but you got to do like whole body exercise to preserve your muscle.
Do you also have to do like different intensity of exercise?
There's only been ever, like, as far as I know, that one study that's been done. And as far as I know, like no one's really done the study looking at lifelong strength trained people. So,
is this nerve damage due to
aging?
Hormonal stuff? Aging.
Aging. We don't know what's happening with the aging to cause the nerves to die off that are activating the muscles. We don't know.
So it doesn't matter if you are on testosterone therapy. Because I mean, it's a huge thing in the US.
This guy.
It's a huge thing in the US.
Yeah, I mean, testosterone only.
It will get huge here in Europe.
Yeah, testosterone
you'll bring it
only.
here.
Testosterone only helps you recover faster. I have no clue. I don't really know because I don't know what the problem is.
Because you
Soon
see,
it's
like,
going to be.
It's
Do you know
better that you don't
Dekadura
know. It
ball?
doesn't get ideas
Okay,
then.
you
okay.
see old people like around, okay, now it's not old, 50s, 60s,
My
70s,
dad takes TRT.
with TRT.
Shout out,
Yeah.
Dad.
Yeah,
Tjena farsan.
They
Right.
do train.
Right.
They train.
My
right.
dad
Yes,
doesn't listen
they
to me
train.
'cause he's
Yeah.
So
not
that
English.
means something is working
Kom här,
good
Magnus.
with the...
Yeah.
Kom hit grabbar.
Yeah. Well, I think first and foremost, the training is the
Yeah, the
most
training.
important thing, right?
Yeah.
Whether you take testosterone or not, I mean, I don't know.
He thinks you can just lay on the bed and
Lay on
take
the bed and take
testosterone.
testosterone. Yeah. I don't really know, but I think it would be safe to say that training is probably the better way to protect the muscle. Yeah. Yeah.
Ha det.
I mean, those people who are around 60, 70,
Yeah.
they shouldn't look like that
Yeah.
if they don't take
Yeah.
testosterone therapy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that means it helps them with the hormonal level.
But,
And
But they only look like that if they're doing training, right?
Yeah.
yeah,
If you take
Yeah.
testosterone but you don't train at all,
it helps too.
Yeah.
I don't know if it
Nah.
was
So it's
Hey.
like the faster
small
you recover,
research
the
that-
easier it is to train and the muscle to grow.
yeah, yeah,
So it's like
yeah. I don't know.
that's why like
Yeah.
where people that takes like testosterone in MMA
Yeah.
is they can train more because they
Yeah.
recover faster.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So,
yeah. It helps recovery.
yeah. And that's mean
Yeah.
you can train more.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, if you take steroids, very well known. Taking steroids doesn't do anything, but it help until you train and it helps you recover faster, so you can train more.
You still have to do the work.
You still have to do the work.
Yeah.
Don't get
Yeah.
sad. Don't get sad.
Yeah.
You told
Next
us
question. Do you have a
before
supplier?
before the podcast that you're on a lot of boards in your university,
Yeah.
and you're on the ethics board.
Yeah.
Do you often have to reject people for ethical reasons?
Yeah, I'm on like the animal ethics board, but like for the human ethics board, yeah, for sure. I mean, there's considerations for the ethical treatment of humans and animals. Like I do human experiments in my lab too.
Yeah,
I do both. But
That
yeah,
sounds
like
so crazy, like human.
yeah, like they're worried about like, okay, are you are you like mentally stressing someone too much, right?
Yeah.
Like, with your exercise, physically, are you going to be injuring someone? I think it's all about like liability,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So certainly the university doesn't want to be like sued for like
Yeah.
injuring someone, not that you'd want to do that anyways,
No,
right?
of course.
But you need to design an experiment that people can do and people are not going to be injured from it.
Have you seen any crazy suggestions about like experiments?
I can't really think of anything crazy off the top of my head. Yeah, I mean.
But do you know of anyone that has like wanted to do some like
Crazy experiment.
crazy experiment?
Yeah, usually the craziest experiments in exercise physiology world,
Yeah.
most people know that the craziest experiments that are done in this area are in Scandinavia.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, because like
Big up.
there's just like, I don't know. Yeah, there's just believed to be like, I don't know, maybe people just, I don't know what it is to be honest, but like there's been so many like scientific findings that have come out of Scandinavia from doing like fairly invasive experiments, but at the same time, like people they've been able to
Invasive
do
in
it
what way?
safely. Like biopsies, right? Muscle biopsies originated from Stockholm, right? The Bergstrom needle is named after Jan Bergstrom and Eric Hultman, and they were at the Karolinska Hospital, right? Right when it was by Stadshuset, back in the day. Like that's when they first did muscle biopsies. And when they first did muscle biopsies was to look at muscle glycogen, which is the carbohydrate store. You know, so the very first study that was done was to look at fatigue and glycogen, and so biopsies originated here for sure, and then also very invasive tests of like having catheters in like your veins or artery systems, and doing muscle biopsies, like all those crazy types of experiments have been done either like in Copenhagen, at the University of Copenhagen, or they've been done here in Sweden, and because in North America, no top level elite athlete would want to have a muscle biopsy done, but here in Scandinavia, like if like an athlete believes that they can benefit from the science and they can find a way to be faster, they would be willing to undergo that type of experiment knowing that they can get an edge. But like any professional athlete, elite athlete in North America would never allow you to take a biopsy. Yeah. And not until they're retired.
Is it maybe because it's not as much money in Sweden in sports?
I don't know. Maybe people just believe in the science more. I'm not really sure. And like maybe when you take a muscle biopsy, I mean, you're taking a piece of muscle that's never coming back, right? So like I can understand that from that perspective that, okay, like you're going to be losing that muscle and that's going to affect your performance. But that bit of muscle is so little that it's not going to really do anything like if you can benefit from the science, right? So,
Is it also that in Canada, is it like in USA that you can sue anybody? Like
maybe not as bad as in US, but I don't really know the legal system so much. Like, sometimes like Canada works very much similar to Sweden in some ways and similar to the US in some ways. It's kind of like in terms of culture, it's kind of in between. Yeah.
But is it maybe that because of that they don't want to be as liable as they feel they can be in Sweden?
Yeah, maybe.
Experiments?
I don't know the law so well, so I can't say.
Yeah. What's the next step for you? What's in your pipeline?
What's in my pipeline?
Femårsplanen nu.
Yeah.
You always ask question in like the 5 years plan.
Well, if I tell you, I have to kill you. No, but I mean, we're doing experiments, with carbohydrate. So different types of carbohydrate and how different types of carbohydrate can affect performance. Because so there's a lot kind of in that area, like fatigue and recovery. So like a big area that we're looking at there. Hot water immersion is something that we're definitely looking at in trying to see like how does hot water immersion.
We're going to Finland then, like sauna.
Sauna, yeah. We're gonna have a little sauna in our lab. So hot water immersion studies, and we're gonna have some really cool data coming out from that.
Ozempic.
Huh?
Ozempic,
So we're gonna be looking at people that are taking Ozempic, and trying to understand, do people, in addition to losing fat, do they lose muscle? And there is some evidence out there to indicate that, if you take Ozempic, you're going to lose some muscle. So we want to study that. So it's like, do you lose muscle, but do you also lose strength? Do you lose power? Do you also get more fatigable? So that's something that we're going to be looking at next year. And we have some research being done around arthritis, so rheumatism. How does it affect muscle? Because people that have rheumatoid arthritis, they have weaker muscles, even if they take their drugs. So the question is like, why is it happening, and how can we make them better? So maybe some projects that are around that, and then a kind of longer term, we still want to study what causes fatigue under different types of circumstances. So like not only studying fatigue, but I have very much an interest in how can we not get fatigued, right? And I think that's really, really cool. And then also aging. So why do we get more fatigued as we get older?
Have you seen the guy, I don't know, he's millionaire, the guy who tries to live forever?
Oh, okay. No.
Have you seen?
Oh yeah. Sorry.
I've heard about this
in YouTube, right?
Yeah.
I've seen this guy.
Crazy. He takes blood work every day.
Yeah.
I think he takes his son's blood.
Yeah.
Pump it in his own body and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Just to not age.
Yeah.
But he maybe lives 10 years longer.
Yeah.
But waste all his life because of that. So it's so you say it was pretty trendy, I don't know, maybe now and 5 years ago, like no carbs.
Yeah.
Would you say that's stupid as fuck? What do you say about like no carbs?
You know what's interesting about a lot of longevity stuff is like whatever makes you like age better is like the opposite of what you want to do for training. You know?
Okay.
So you
Like-
can't have both.
Yeah, you can't have both, right? Like, what is it? There's some diabetes drug that people can take to like live longer, but like that's going to like inhibit your training adaptation, for example, right?
Yeah, because
Or
I
if you-
heard like elite athletes like died 15 years sooner than normal people.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah.
But
But
you have always heard you should not train as an athlete to live a healthy life or have
like
a healthy
pushing our
lifestyle.
limits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Putting stress to our bodies.
Yeah, stress your body's definitely that. Yeah, I'm not really sure about that. I mean, of course, if you're an elite athlete, you're
Even
an athlete.
you with your archery,
Yeah,
you hurt your shoulder,
yeah,
scoliosis,
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's like if you wanna be like optimal, like live healthy,
Yeah.
that's not the way to go.
yeah. I think like if you're an elite athlete, but you've never had injury, which is all very difficult,
Yeah.
right? Many elite
Yeah.
athletes have injury, but if you don't have injury, then it's not a problem.
Yeah.
I mean, do you live longer? I don't know if you live longer, but you're gonna have a better quality of life.
Yeah.
For sure. You're going to live longer and you're going to be like able to run, do everything that you want. But you
But
mean,
yeah,
but
you
much
have
better
so many
life.
problems
Yeah,
like when
yeah.
you're an athlete.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
But,
him.
Yeah, like I was at a conference in Baltimore this year and yeah, they were looking at like what's the latest research on like aging, and like one thing was like looking at, eating fewer calories per day. Like how does that, it's proven in like worms and mice and fish, like you feed them less calories, they live longer. But can you prove that in humans? Like it's very difficult. Like if you consume fewer calories as a human, like you're just going to be like, what's it you say? The guy said in Survivor, right? You have like no energy.
No energy.
You're not going to have any energy. You can't do anything in your everyday life, and we really don't know the long term effects of having like really a caloric deficit.
Yeah.
I don't know who wants to live their life that way.
No,
right?
no.
To be
Yeah,
honest,
Nice to live long, but have no energy.
yeah.
Just be sitting at
You can't eat any
120
food.
years of no energy.
Yeah.
But sitting with all the knowledge you are doing,
Yeah.
and all the research,
Yeah.
what would you have as a blueprint for longevity for a normal person? How would you live? How would you recommend people to live?
Yeah, I mean, for sure, lifelong exercise, improving both cardiovascular performance and strength training, I think are really keys to having a better quality of life as you get into old age. Like that's a known fact. Having, of course, good nutrition, making sure, you're eating your vegetables. I don't belong to any vegetable company, but like I think like if vegetables are like one area where people really don't eat enough fruits and vegetables, like that's where all your vitamins and minerals and like phytochemicals, like all these beneficial things for your body, where they come from. Protein intake I don't think is a problem for most people, but as you get older, like you need to people don't eat enough protein.
Yeah.
So like I told you, as you get older, like if old people, like your teeth, shafar, you can't chew your meat properly, and research has shown that if when you get older, it's good to eat shafar, like eat ground meat, because you can't chew your meat properly, and then you can digest it better, and you have better like protein metabolism, protein synthesis during training. So like protect your teeth so you can make sure you can chew your food as you get into like old age. Obviously the other lifestyle factors, like don't smoke, don't drink too much, like I mean things in moderation. Or cut them out. I don't know. There's really no beneficial effects of drinking alcohol. There's no beneficial things of smoking or vaping. So like I mean you don't have to do those things, but actually no, vaping is not. So there's a project done at my university, and
It come out recently, right?
No. I don't know if there's recent evidence, but like my colleague, I'll give a plug to him, Dr. Devin Phillips. He's shout out cardiorespiratory physiologist, and he's studying vapors right now, like university students.
Shit.
And when he looks, when he looks at students that are vaping, they have like lungs that look like old people. Yeah, like really bad
like
lung performance.
If you're smoking something from a battery,
what do you expect?
Smoke plants.
Yeah, people think it's like healthier or whatever, but I mean, like the evidence shows that, you know, like these young people have the lungs of an old person.
And if you just like look, what's the ingredients?
Yeah.
It's like chemicals, like 20 differences. That cannot be good for you.
Yeah, when I was young, I mean, I thought, I never smoked, but I thought like a hookah pipe was better for you because it's like vapor. It's not.
No.
So
when I was young, I smoked hookah a lot. Not good.
Not good for you.
Habibi.
How much in which directions you have done researches, but regarding growth.
Yeah.
Regarding old people.
Yeah.
How does that work? I tried to tell you about the MRIs that old people don't have any muscles left.
Yeah.
Around their skeletons.
Yeah.
Bones.
Yeah.
Could they still grow muscles if they start training?
Yeah, for
From
sure.
that point.
Yeah, definitely. You know, I've seen MRI images of like old athletes, and they have like their muscle looks just like a young person. You know, usually as you get older, you have like a lot of fat around.
Yeah. But if you start old, like
no problem.
If
you start old, there's never time that's too late to start. Like, you're not going to be
too old.
Never too old. Like, you're not going to be like.
So you will get new muscle cells.
Yeah, you are not going to get. You don't get new muscle cells like the muscles that you have and you're born with. You always have, unless of course you know the nerve dies and then the muscle dies. But so either you get, as you get older, you have fewer muscle fibers, or the same muscle fibers you have, they still have a capacity to grow. Yeah. So I think like as you get older, there is more of a need to focus on eating protein as you get older. Not necessarily when you're young. I think a lot of people eat enough protein, but as you get older, you need to focus on protein intake in and around when you're training, and then train hard. And I think the main difference is maybe considering the fact that your recovery time is going to be longer. So maybe you just have to focus on the fact that you just have to give yourself a little bit more recovery time. But other than that, no problem. Never too late to start.
And I have a thing we should know every podcast now when we have a guest. I've seen some other podcasts do this. Do you have a question for the next guest? Just random. It can be like anything. Give us a question to the next guest. Anything.
Oh my god.
That has to be something stupid now.
Yeah. It can be anything.
Okay.
And you don't know
which guest.
Okay, so ask the guest if they do cold water immersion and why.
Yes, that's
perfect.
Good question.
Yeah.
Huh? Yeah, that's related to you.
Yeah.
Fast har du någonting mer eller? Annars
Fan, hur länge har vi hållit på?
2 timmar, 2 hours.
Oh shit.
Wow, good one.
Vill du avrunda?
Yeah. Vi
avrundar. Big thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All the way from Canada.
Yeah.
For this podcast.
Yeah, that's right. Just for this podcast, no other reason.
If you want guinea pigs, you have to.
No.
Yeah. You have to fly to Canada. Yeah.
We want to shout out to Sacred Sauna for letting us be there. And you find us at YouTube, Twitch, Spotify, Facebook, Instagram.
Yeah.
Maybe OnlyFans.
Do you want to plug yourself?
Yeah, you can find me on X.
Twitter.
What was my tag? And I'm trying to advertise myself. Is it at Cheng Lab York U?
Yeah.
And you can follow me there.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you very much.
Link in description.
Yeah.
Link in description.
Okay, perfect.
Tack så mycket.
Thanks.
Så ja.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you.
Very interesting.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's really fun.
Very difficult to